what day is it? It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I'm Carissa Wiley from sprinkledwithglitter.com. Welcome to my craft room. I am excited to be here today. It's been a busy day up until this point. Lots of fun things happening. And I'm super excited to be just sitting here, connecting with you, creating, and we're creating with my Shine Bright collection. I have not created with this in so long. And honestly, there goes the dogs. They are locked up. I'm not sure what's going on, but honestly, I have been shipping out some handmade cards with each of my tumblers that I've been selling, and I have a skinny cup option available now. And so I thought, I'm running out of disco ball cards, and I really need some disco ball cards. So today, we're going to do some mass producing of some disco ball cards with the Shine Bright collection. And we'll go over some of the tips that we addressed a couple weeks ago for the thank yous. But I'm going to let you guys kind of jump in a little bit because there's some details that I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. And so I'm hoping you all can help me with that. I have my basic color palette picked, but I have some decisions to make. So I'm hoping that you can all help me with those decisions. Before we get into it, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notifications on my channel. That ensures that you'll see every video that I post. You'll know when I go live, and it's just an important thing. Also, if you would give this video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you are here live, I love it when you chat, ask me questions in the live chat. If you're watching on replay, I want to thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me too. I would love to hear your comments in the comment section, so be sure to do that. Finally, I wanted to say I have links for everything in the YouTube description below, and if you want to make it easier for yourself to see what you're shopping for, you can click the link that says for a visual supply list, click here. It will open up like a picture list that then you can click on, so that makes it a little bit easier. But now, with all that being said, should we go down to the desktop? Yes, we should. So here's a look at a few of the items from the Shine Bright collection that I'll be using today. I have the Shine Bright sentiment strips. This is great for mass producing because it gives me a whole bunch of sentiments in one swipe of the hot foil as well as the die cut machine. It makes it easy, and then I can just make a bunch of cards with these. I'm also going to use what are these called? Are these called Shine Bright or Sparkle On sentiments? These might be called Sparkle On sentiments. So we're going to use these, and we're going to create a few bigger sentiments, and we'll pair them with the strip sentiments. And then the star of the show is really going to be the disco ball etched dies. Now, this is the die set. It includes 3 size disco balls. And the cool thing about these dies is that you can see here, they actually make an impression in your cardstock. So you really get that really cool disco ball effect. So there's 3 sizes. You also get solid pieces. And I know like it's just another circle die, but the great thing is these line up perfectly with these, and they're in scale. So they're perfect for creating like a window card, or we're going to use them as a backer today. But it's great just to have these because they match up with your disco balls. You don't have to go searching through your, your stash to find the right size circle. And then also it comes with the little sparkles, which make the perfect little accents. So we're going to use those today. I did want to let you know, we have in my line, there's also the Disco Impressions. Now this is a press plate set, so you can use this with your Glimmer hot foil system or with your Better Press system. So these actually press the foil onto the cardstock or do a faux letterpress look. They also have coordinating dies, and there are stencils where then you can fill in the extra pieces on that disco ball. I'm trying to see if I have any stuck in here. So you'll see this is what it looks like when they're pressed onto this light gray cardstock. You get that foil, but then you can fill in the extra areas with the stencil set if you choose. So you could make a multicolored disco ball, like a rainbow disco ball, or whatever you want. It's a fun set, and if you haven't picked it up yet, it's fun to play with, and I love all things disco ball. It feels right, you know? The other thing I am not using today, there's a couple other things I'm not using, but the other thing I wanted to show you was the sparkle background. I am not using this today, but this is a hot foil plate only. So this one only works with your hot foil system. It is not a better press plate. So hot foil only on this one, but this creates a great background. You can do it twice to create a full radiating background. Now, here's the deal. I don't want to do, I want to make at least 10 cards, and we may not do all of those here. But I don't want to do 10 of these foiling twice. So we're not going to use that on today, but we may use something similar. So, okay, that's a lot of talking. I know. I also have some other dies pulled out, but I wanted to start with the hot foiling. And so what I thought we would do, I'm going to use some silver hot foil. I've gone ahead and trimmed down several of these pieces. And I thought we would do some sentiment strips as well as some sentiments. We'll get those busted out. We'll have those ready to go. And I did do a little die cutting ahead of time to kind of help me along with the process. So I'm going to use the Sparkle On, my friend, the Shine Bright, and the More Glitter, Less Bitter sentiments from this set. They all have coordinating dies. We'll use those as well. I'm not going to use the You've Got That Birthday Glow because I'm not really going for birthday cards, but keep in mind that is in there. So I'm going to place those onto my Glimmer Hot Foil system. I had this heating up before I went live so that we were ready to go from the get-go, and I'm just going to lay those on there and hit that timer button. I'm going to allow those to heat up, and we're going to do this a few times, maybe 3 or 4 times using silver foil. Now, you could use the prism foil, which really matches the disco balls that I'm going to use. However, I find that there's not as much contrast against a white cardstock with this. So the sentiments tend to be a little bit more difficult to read. And so that's why I'm using the plain silver rather than the other. I'm also using my favorite foil for hot foil, or my favorite cardstock for hot foiling, and that is the Concord and Ninth white cardstock. Vicki said she's listening while she works. Well, that is fabulous. You can listen and whistle while you work. Kara says, excited about you using the Shine Bright collection. I have it all. Well, hopefully this inspires you to pull it out and create. And if you guys create with it, I would totally love for you to share it on Instagram and tag me so I can reshare it in my stories. I think it's so much fun to see what you all do with this collection as well. So be sure to tag me in Instagram when you create with it. All right, I got to grab my plates here. And we're going to take this. The timer is done now. So I'm going to just release this platform from the base. I'm going to take it over to my Platinum 6, and I'll add my hot foil with the pretty side facing the pattern of my press plates. And then I'm going to add my cardstock right here. I'll add my thin shim and my spacer pad, and then I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. All right. Now, if you'll notice, I kind of tried to preserve a little bit of that foil. Maybe I can reuse this piece of foil again because I'm doing this a few times, but we'll see what happens when we pull all this up. All right. So I have that. Ooh, look at that. Perfect. Okay, now I can use the bottom of this, so I'm just going to rotate this. And I think I can probably use this hot foil again. Just like that. Yep. We're going to be like super frugal today. We won't misuse any of our supplies. So I've plugged the platform back into the base, and I'm just waiting for this to tell me like the platform is ready. Truthfully, I could probably press this or foil this a few times before I like reheat it again, but I'm just going to do that. I'm not even going to hit the timer because it's telling me that it's at full heat, and these plates have already done a timer through. So we'll see if we get great results. If we don't, we'll just, start over with the timer and all that. So I'll take this from the base. I'll place my hot foil here with the pretty side facing the pattern. I'm going to just rotate this so I'm pressing on the bottom now. And I'll run this through again with my thin shim and my spacer pad. Now this is giving me 3 sentiments every time I press. So I need to do this like maybe 3 or 4 times to get 10 cards, which is my goal, is to make 10 cards. All right, so you can see that worked just fine. I didn't run it through another timer. I have my sentiments. I am going to make sure that I keep these spaced out enough where I can put my die around them and not run into each other. But if we run into that problem, we should have a couple extras. So I've plugged it back in. I'm going to do this a couple more times with the white cardstock, and then we'll have at least our big sentiments ready to go. So that's hot and ready. So we'll release again. We'll add our foil with the pretty side facing our press plates, add our cardstock, and then run this through. Now for the strip sentiments, what I really want to do is do those on a colored cardstock. And I am using like a really fun palette today. It's very similar to what I've been using recently in some of my videos, but I think it's just a fun palette to use. And so, I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and use, I don't think I showed you, but I am using Seaside, Oceanside, Chiffon, Mulberry, and Orchid. These are all ColorWheel cardstocks from Spellbinders. So that's my plan for my colors. And I need to decide what color I want to foil my sentiment strips on. I'm leaning towards the mulberry, but you all tell me, of those colors, which color would you make kind of your focal color for your sentiment strips? Now, the darker color, like the mulberry or the Oceanside, will have more contrast. It will be like a bold statement. If I go with the Seaside, I feel like the silver might get a little lost on it. And if I go with the chiffon, I definitely think the silver will get lost on it. So I'm not really sure that I want to do that. But you guys tell me, of those 4 colors, which color you think you would use. All right, so we have 4 of these done now. So we have 12 sentiments in total, and we're ready to move on to our next portion of foiling. We're going to complete at least one of these. We're going to get our design down, and then I may have to like assemble the rest of them, you know, off screen, but we'll get at least one of them done. I'm going to use my little magnetic tool to pick up my press plates off of my hot foil plate or my platform. And then I'm going to grab this. These are the Shine Bright sentiment strips. I'm trying to decide which one of these would be more appropriate for the types of cards I want to use. I think let's just put both of them on there, and then we can use all of them. So I'm placing those on. Now they haven't heated up yet. So what I'm going to do is I am going to hit the timer because I just put those on. And like my other ones, I let them heat up, and then we ran them through time after time after time without waiting for the, you know, plate to really reheat. They do maintain their temperature quite well. But since this is just going onto the plate, I need to give it some time to heat up. And so I'll hit that timer, and I'm just going to put my press plates back in my little stamp pocket here. I get a lot of questions about these stamp pockets. They're actually from Amazon, and I'll have to link those after the live is over. I also have now a lot of people are saying mulberry, which is kind of what I was leaning towards. So I have a piece of mulberry cardstock somewhere. Let's see if it's big enough. Yes. And then we have some pre-cut silver foil. I should really only need to do this one time because I'm getting so many sentiments out of just this one pass that this one pass should be enough for all the cards that I need. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sentiments. Some of them are kind of birthday themed, so I probably won't use those, so it'll probably work out really well. Okay, so now that this is heated up, I'm going to remove the platform from the base. I'll take this over. I'll add my foil. Again, I'm using the silver foil from Spellbinders with with it facing, the pretty side facing the pattern of my press plate. And then I'm gonna add my mulberry cardstock on top. I'll add my thin shim and my spacer pad, and we'll run this through. And we'll see. Hopefully we get great results on the colored cardstock. Spellbinders ColorWheel cardstock is a fairly smooth cardstock, so that makes it better for foiling. All right. So let's see what we have here. Oh, I think it's going to be good. Yes. Okay, those foiled pretty well. There's a couple little spots that I see that honestly, I think they look great. So aren't those pretty? I love the silver on that mulberry. I think it looks really beautiful. Okay, so we have those. Let's set those aside. I think I'm done with my foiling, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and set it over to the side. We'll pick these up and just place them there. And then we can start our die cutting of all these elements. So really mass production starts with kind of prepping your elements first. So that's kind of what we're going for here. We're prepping some sentiments. I have some disco balls pre-die cut, but I'm going to show you what I did to die cut those here in just a moment. And we'll get all of our pieces kind of ready to go so that then when we're ready to start kind of experimenting with design, we may have to die cut a few more things, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, so for my die cutting, I actually prefer to use my Anna Griffin Empress machine. You can totally use whatever die cut machine you have. And what I'll do is I'll take the sentiment strips and I'll die cut those first. And I'll just line these up with the strips. I'm going to look down through and make sure we're kind of equal distant, top and bottom on all the sentiments. And then for the bottom ones, I'll do the same thing. Now, remember I said that there were some kind of birthday sentiments. I won't be using those. You've Got That Birthday Glow is one of the examples of the birthday sentiments that I probably won't use. And then there's an It's Your Birthday. So those I won't use. Now, for the Anna Griffin Empress machine, you can actually put your plates through this way, or you can put them through this way. It fits both ways. It works both ways. I'm going to place them through this way. And when I find that I'm cutting these long strips on my Anna Griffin Empress, because the magnet has a little bit of give to it, it tends to stretch as you put it through the pressure of the die cut machine. And so rather than stretching this way, where it will knock my sentiment strips kind of out of alignment as far as top bottom goes, I would rather them stretch kind of side to side. So I'm going to place my plates in to the opening this way so that I end up with the best results that I can. The mulberry did turn out really beautifully, didn't it? Okay. So now we have all of these. They look like they cut really beautifully. There's another, It's My Birthday. It's Your Birthday. I'm not going to use that, but we have plenty of You Were Made To, So Proud of You, Get Your Glow On, Sparkle Like You Mean It, and Leave a Little Sparkle, The World Needs More of You. Those are all great, just kind of encouraging sentiments. So now that we have those done, I'm going to clean a little as I go today, just because I don't want it to be really super overwhelming. And I don't know how many of you were here for our live stream a couple weeks ago on a Monday. I did some thank you notes, some mass-produced thank you notes, and we went over some, tips for mass producing. And we're going to review some of those and hopefully share a few more today. So let's get these lined up. This will take a little more time because these are not all in the same configuration, because they do move around as you move your platform out of your Glimmer hot foil. Here's a little trick I will tell you. When you're working with hot foiled elements, the shine or the glare of these can be kind of deceiving. So once I get my dies in place over my elements and it looks good from here, I'm actually going to tilt them up and look at them straight on and just make sure that I have everything where I want it. When I'm confident that I have it where I want it, I'll just go ahead and place the other cutting plate on top, the other A plate, and then run that through the die cut machine. I got my Shot Shine Bright cup on Friday and I'm so in love. What a gorgeous design, and I love the card. Thank you. F. Joe Clemens, I knew I was going to see you on one of these lives again. So thank you for your purchase, and I'm so glad you enjoyed your card as well. All of those cups are produced by me, packed with love. I'm including a little handwritten card while I still can. And so that's what we're doing today. We're making more cards for the cups. I actually have a skinny cup now. These are on pre-order over at my shop, and I have the link to those below. So if you're looking for a cup for like your cold drinks with some like iced tea and a straw, then that's your cup for you. And I placed those in the shop, and they are pre-order right now. So those will not ship until like July, early July. So lining up my dies again over the sentiments, and then we'll run these through, and we're gonna just pop them into this little tray that I'm using, and then we have 2 more passes to get all of this done. So you'll notice that I'm doing like 2, like the sparkle on my friend up here, and then I'll do the shine bright down here. The reason is that these dies, the outer edge of these dies, want to like overlap each other if I put all 3 of them in the same grouping together, and I don't want them to overlap. So I'm just working around that by doing 2 from one group and 1 from the other at a time. All right. Okay, so we'll do this. Run that through. How's everybody's Wednesday? I'm having a great day. I recorded a video and edited it. That is such a hard thing to say. I did the edits. I did the voiceover. I'm waiting on something to take the pictures. So I need something that's coming in the mail to take the pictures. So I'll have that up later this week. I'm hoping Friday. And then also Friday, I'm going live again. I know, a couple of times in 1 week. I'm getting some live streams in because I will be out of the area next week, and then the following week I am getting 1 live stream in next week while I'm home between trips. But I kind of wanted to get just some extra live streams in while I'm home before I start traveling for the summer, and just kind of take the opportunity to connect with all of you. And so we have 2 live streams this week. I think I know what I'm using for Fridays. I haven't fully decided, but I think I got a new little collection that I picked up, and I just thought I would pick that up. So it's super cute. I think you guys will like it. So we'll probably use that. I don't want to like give it away. You'll have to come back on Friday and see. Oh, Chris just picked up her skinny cup. Awesome. It is a pre-order, so just keep that in mind, that those will start shipping in early July once I get back from travel. But thank you so much. You'll probably end up with one of these cards. Colleen says, we'll take the lives when we can get them. Fabulous. All right, now I did some die cutting ahead of time here of my disco balls, and wow, look at that holographic cardstock. Now this holographic cardstock is actually from Erin Lee Creates, and her business unfortunately did go out of business earlier this year, but I linked a similar cardstock in the supply list below. On the back of these, I do have some Altenew sheet adhesive, and here's why. This holographic cardstock, I don't know if you can tell, it tends to curl. And that is not ideal for putting it on my card friends. And so I am going to attach it to a base layer of plain white cardstock to kind of flatten it out and help it lay smooth. Now for this, I wanted to show you something. You can use a metal shim on this to die cut all the way through not only the cardstock, but also the backer. Or if you don't use a metal shim, this is kind of cool, you can cut through just basically the cardstock on top, and the backer kind of stays in one piece, and then you can just peel it out kind of like a sticker instead of having to try to pry off that backer layer. So I thought this would work really well because it just makes life a little easier. Sometimes those backers can be such a booger to take off, but I do love to use an adhesive sheet on something like this when I'm mass producing because it saves me so much time rather than trying to like liquid glue or tape runner things and then worry about them falling apart. And I love these dies because, like I said, they create that impression in there as well, which really makes it look like a disco ball. Now here's what I'm talking about. I just die cut these two on the bottom. And if you look at the back side, the backer is not die cut. However, it did die cut all the way through the holographic cardstock. So then I can just pick it up and it's a sticker. It's ready to go. Now, another element that I think I want to include is an arch. And I have not die cut any of these because this is where I kind of need your help. I'm thinking either one of these two size arch here. So I have one that's a little bit bigger than the other. I'm not sure what color I want the arch. Honestly, I don't know. And here's why. I really want to use colored cardstock strips on all of these. So I want to create a little pattern. I've die cut these ahead of time with that Altenew adhesive on the back. So let's do this. I want to kind of give you the vision of where I'm going. If this will cooperate, and it's not wanting to. So I have mulberry orchid, chiffon, seaside, and oceanside. And I want to put them at an angle, or maybe even in this kind of starburst pattern on my arch. But if I do the arches out of any of these colors, you're not going to see that cardstock strip. So I kind of need like a sixth color. Now I could do ivory. I don't know if I want the ivory with these colors because that's going to give it a really antique-y looking vibe. I could do white and then do a colored card base, but I'm kind of like up in the air, and that's where I need your guys' help right now. So you can let me know, what color should we make the arches for this? Now I'll show you kind of what I have in mind for the layout so you can get an idea. I have a couple of these pre-cut here. So I'm thinking we do the colored cardstock strips. We do a couple of disco balls, just like that, like 1 and 2 at different angles. We will have a sentiment right over the top, and then we'll have the sentiment strip somewhere below, maybe at an angle, not sure, maybe something like this. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. It's very simple, but I need help. What color should this arch be? And should we use the bigger arch, a little bit bigger arch, or should we use the smaller arch? So you'll just, on the smaller arch, you're just gonna get like a hint of the arch behind it. On the larger arch, you're gonna get a little bit more of that arch feeling. Silver arch, oh, that would be so much. Nectar, I feel like the nectar is gonna fight with the chiffon, but we could try it. Chris says a dove arch, which would be a light gray. So let's pull out a couple of colors and let's try these. So we've had nectar. So let's pull out Nectar. Okay, that's an option. It's very orange, okay? The other one was Dove. So let's pull out Dove. Dove is a very cool gray. So that's an option. I'm going to go ahead and pull out Pebble while we're at it. It's a little bit warmer gray. Okay. Oh, that's not Pebble. I just pulled out another Dove. This is Pebble. This is Pebble. Okay, very warm compared to the Dove. And then I'm gonna grab a couple more from here. So one of those will be Ivory. Okay, so Ivory is an option. We could do white and stamp it with a color. Or I was gonna pull out this color here, which is another kind of in-between gray. So we could do these. Bigger Arch and Mulberry. Well, Mulberry is going to be way too much, I feel like, for what I'm going for. So Bigger Arch seems to be the consensus on the arch. So we'll go with the Bigger Arch. And then what we can do is just take some of these and start trying the feelings, okay? So let's just try these. We have all of our colors here. We have this gray, which I think is a lot of fun. The thing about mass production also that you want to think about is sometimes you don't always want to use all the colored cardstock all the time, you know, because white cardstock's cheaper. Pre-ordered, I meant. Oh, Marianne, thank you. Carrie's here, popping in late, can't stay, but we'll watch you on replay. Love the shimmering disco balls. Thanks, Carrie. I'm glad you're here, and I will see you on the replay. Okay, this gray actually is really nice. This is what's called Oyster Gray. It's from Essentials by Ellen a long time ago. I'm going to put that in the contenders. This is Ivory. I really should adhere these together, so I'm not trying to pick them up every time. This is Ivory. This gives it a more retro vibe, but it will still look great on the white cardstock. So this is Ivory. Okay. So that's Ivory. I would say that's a contender. I don't know that I'm in love, but it's a contender. Here's Nectar. Nectar feels a little bit strong because to me the purples are fighting with it. Now if we wanted to go something in this family, what I might grab instead of the Nectar, and it's gonna feel very similar, but it's gonna feel just different enough that it might feel better. This is Bellini from Spellbinders. It tends to be in that same color family. I've lost a strip. The Seaside strip just disappeared. So this is just slightly more orange than it's hard to say, but this one feels better than this one. But either way, I don't think I love this idea. So this one's not a contender for me. Here's a couple more grays. Pebble is a little bit warmer than what we used here. A little dark, feels a little heavy. And then Dove also. So let's just do this. I'm really upset that that little strip just disappeared. So, okay, I think that my two favorites are We could do white and a colored card base. We could do ivory, or we could do oyster. I'm gonna look for that little stinking strip that just disappeared. It disappeared itself. And you guys let me know in the comments where you're leaning. Remember, I always reserve the right to veto what you guys say. But I kind of like the gray. If we did gray on white, and we had this could be a fun look. Oyster, okay? Oyster, we have 2 for oyster. Ivory, oyster, oyster. Okay, lots of oyster. So we're gonna do oyster. We're gonna do bigger arch, oyster. And let me just see, and we'll do it on a white card base. Oyster, more oyster than, it's funny how we looked at a bunch of grays and like some of them feel better than the others. Isn't that ironic? It's kind of like I showed you with the Bellini and the Nectar. Sometimes just a little shade can make all the difference. This is not what I want. I want this one. I wanted to see if within the Spellbinders line, if there was something similar to the oyster. Oh, yes. Okay, so this fog color is almost identical to the oyster. Okay, so if you're looking for something that you can get your hands on, because obviously the Essentials by Ellen is no longer available, the fog cardstock I think is identical. So if you're looking for something, you know, in that family, and I'll show you again how these grays compare. So let's just say this is fog, this is pebble, and this is dove. Elizabeth says, I like that you reserve the right to veto. Your decisions are always excellent. Well, thank you. I'm not sure that everybody loves that I reserve the right to veto. So I appreciate that, Elizabeth. I just don't, I want to make something in the end that I'm happy with. And so that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's see. This might be cutting it a little close to try to do this vertically on here, but we're going to try. And that little strip has disappeared. I had exactly 10 die cuts. So that's why I'm so worried about the fact that one of those strips disappeared. Okay, this did not cut all the way through. So let's do this on the plastic or the clear plate instead. See, I'm just like you. Things happen to me too. I don't always get the exact results I want. Marianne said, thank you for comparing. Yeah, you know what? I really enjoy walking through some of those like thought processes with you all. I feel like it helps me to kind of verbalize my thought process. And I think it helps you all as you're crafting to kind of look at things a little bit differently. So I really love to take the time to kind of go through some of those things when we're here together and just kind of bring out the thought process behind it all. All right, so I'm just gonna die cut a couple of those. Well, let's do a third one. We'll do 3 because I can get a third one out of here. Now, because I've taken some extra steps in die cutting a few things ahead of time, like we have all of the strips. These strips, by the way, were die cut using the 1/8 inch strip, quick strips die from the Stamp Market. So I have the Altenew adhesive sheet on the back of all of these so that when I go to put them down, I just have to remove the backer and slap them onto my arch. and it will make my life a lot easier, especially when I'm dealing with something as thin as those 1/8 inch strips. So if I was going to create all 10 at this moment, I would create 10 of these, and then I would start basically assembly lining this. So you'll recall that I put the adhesive on the back of the disco balls so that I could just adhere the front holographic cardstock to the base piece to give it a little bit of stability, because the holographic cardstock is a specialty cardstock and I just feel like it won't hold up through the mail. It tends to curl. So by adding that base piece to the back, it really does help kind of give it a little bit of stability. It helps flatten it out a bit. And then because I have the adhesive sheet on the back, all I have to do is remove the backer on that adhesive sheet, line them up, and then I have my disco balls ready to go. All right. I will probably do these with some foam adhesive here, and that because my disco balls are just popping on the screen, it's hard to see them, but that's what that's looking like. And then I'll grab one of each of these colors, and gosh, it really just frustrates the heck out of me that I lost that strip. Did anybody see where it went? Maybe you saw it. Maybe you can help me out. I thought about, I really honestly thought about die cutting a bunch of this stuff and taking it with me on vacation. Sometimes when I'm on vacation, I get a really bad creative itch, probably because I can't be in my craft room. And I think just being able to like assemble some cards would put a little bit of that to rest. And so I'm thinking I may die cut some of these elements and just take them with me and assemble it all while I'm on vacation. Now, this is the order that I'm imagining these going in. And here's why. Let's talk about the theory and the thought behind it. I really want the intensity of this color spectrum to be on the top and the bottom. You can either start with intense on the outside, or you could start with the softer colors on the outside. So if I switch the Oceanside and the Seaside and I leave the chiffon in the middle because it's kind of the outlier as far as the colors go, but I switch the mulberry and the orchid, then I'm going with the softer colors on the outside and the intensities in the middle. Do you see how it changes the look of that? It's probably stuck on the back of one of the cardstock colors you're testing. It probably is. Let me look, Stephanie said. So far, have not found it. It was not on the back. I can't even imagine where it went. So do you see how changing the order changes the feeling? And I don't know how that is, but maybe it's like an anchoring thing. I'm not sure. I didn't go to design school, but I feel the difference. Like me, amateur Carissa in color theory and all of this, I feel a difference when I flip those. But if I go back to the intensity on the outside, it feels better to me. So what do you guys think? Do you feel that shift in the color order? And then the reason that I put the chiffon in the middle is because it's not one of the purples and it's not one of the blues. It's just a little different than the others. And so it just, I don't know, it just feels better to me. What do you think? Maybe between the magnet sheet and the cutting plates. Nope, it's not there either, but thank you. It changes the visual weight, Melissa says. So yeah, it feels differently. Dark colors weigh more in the design. Exactly. And so if you love your color scheme, but then you put it down and you're like, it doesn't feel right, try switching the order. It may change how you feel about it. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I like the order you thought originally, says Clara. Okay, perfect. So also, because I've done the mulberry on the bottom, I think then when I put all of this together and I have the mulberry here, that it's going to, it just feels like it belongs in the mulberry rather than having it in the lighter color. So anyway, there's Carissa Theory 101. All right, I'm going to magnet this little guy down because I'm going to start adhering these. And I think I'm just going to pick around an inch here and 2 inches. I want this to be kind of replicatable when I go to adhere all these. Under your glass mat. It is under my glass mat. Tracy wins. Tracy wins. Okay, I feel better now because now I have all 10 strips that I need to make 10 cards. Tracy wins. So I want this to be semi-repeatable when I go put all of these together. Not that it has to be exactly perfect, but if I have an idea of where I'm starting and where I'm finishing my angle, then I can definitely, you know, replicate that feeling. And then maybe this will just drop below that line here so that we have a separation between these colors and this mulberry doesn't get lost. So I'm thinking I like this. We're going to go with starting at about an inch for this guy. So about an inch up from the bottom to just at the 2-inch mark here. Okay. And then we're going to just start peeling. And it looks like, actually, I might be able to get 2 cards out of every strip. So all of my searching for this other seaside strip may have been in vain. Yay, Tracy. Carissa explains it all. You're so funny, Stephanie. Erica says, visually, it does make a big difference. Love hearing the thought process. Helps me make choices on my cards. And honestly, that's why I've been enjoying kind of walking through some of my color choices. I think one of the biggest questions I get asked is how do you come up with your color palettes? And honestly, we went through that on a live stream a couple weeks ago, but a big portion for me is playing in the color. So having my swatches and like working them around. Sometimes I like the color, but then if I put one color next to another, the color palette feels wonky. So even as I'm building my palettes, sometimes I will try switching the order to see if it's just a problem in the order rather than a problem in the actual colors I'm using itself. So I'm going to do this. I'm butting these up. I'm using the adhesive that's on the back. So this is going to make it a whole lot faster. And then I'm going to pick this up. And I'm actually, let's see, that's definitely enough, right? To do a whole nother card. Yeah. So what we'll do, this is maybe crazy. Maybe this is crazy. But I'm thinking, what if I just do this? This is Carissa's laziness. It doesn't always work out for me, but I already have them in order on the angle. The adhesive is exposed. So I'm going to grab another arch and just put those down. Now I have 2 arches done in that short time. I can flip these over and just trim off along the edge of the arch. Maybe that was genius. Maybe that was crazy. I'm not real sure. But either way, that was the fastest second arch I've ever done. Pink Paper and Pink Paper and Things says, haha, that is totally something I would do, saves time. Yeah, I mean, listen, we all only have 24 hours in the day. So, you know, if it saves a little time and we're mass producing and we're doing 10 different cards, well, not 10 different cards, but 10 of the same card, why not? Why not save a little time? A little of both. Okay. So now we have all of these pieces that we've put together. Hey, work smarter, not harder. I agree. Okay, I have little strip pieces sticking all over the place now. Brilliant, says Nancy. I know. Well, I mean, it worked out. It could have been disastrous. We'll just say that. It could, look, and now they're like all these little bits are everywhere. Little bits are everywhere. Okay, this is going to be probably the hardest part because we don't want to cover up too much of the strips, but we definitely want them there. So we're going to have to work on our spacing here. And I love this. The world needs more of you. But I don't love the spacing of that. So I think we'll just let them kind of go off the edge here. We're going to put both of the disco balls at a different angle, and you're just going to see the strips kind of on the side there. I think we'll turn this at an angle and maybe allow it to hang off of this right side. Okay. And then this guy, do we want him at an angle or do we want him straight? Should we just do it all at an angle? Thinking all at an angle is what I'm thinking, but you all can stop me before we get down that road because we have a couple little things we need to do. So we can go all at an angle, trying to break down some of that glare for you, or we can put this straight. I think all at an angle. Okay. Let's do this. I have these where I want them, so I'm just going to flip them over. Now I messed them up. Let's do this. I want one. Okay, here's the deal on these disco balls. I want to show you something. No, this is not the way to show you. Let's do it on the die. Okay, here's the disco ball. I want to show you. Do you see that they're on the top? These are more rounded. And on the bottom, these are more flat. This is the bottom, the flatter part. So when I'm adhering these on, I want to make sure that the more rounded part is at the top and the flat areas are at the bottom. So I'm just going to make sure that when I do that, that I have the rounded areas at the top. Hopefully you're able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, now I'm going to take some foam adhesive. I have these adhered together because they're in the angle and the orientation that I want them to be. And I'm going to take and add some foam adhesive to the back, just like that. Then I'll be able to do that. And I tried to make sure that I didn't put too much foam adhesive over the part that's hanging over, just so that it's clean from the side. Sparkles should be straight. Okay, well, we're going to have a little debate about that, apparently. Well, not maybe a debate, but let's have a conversation. Do you all feel like the sparkle should be straight? Here, let's straighten this out. Straight? Or do you feel like it should be at the angle of the strips? It's going to go right here. I don't really like it anywhere else. So we're either going to do straight or at an angle. So let me know in the live chat what you're thinking. I meant to do a piece of foam adhesive that would hold these together from the back. So straight or an angle, let me know. I'm going to do another piece of foam here that's holding the two pieces together. Just make my life easier, you know? All right. So I have these. Let's do there. Straight angle on the strips. I have 2 angles and 2 straights so far. Angle, angle. There's Charlie. She has something to say. Charlie, no. Angle is different and draws your eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm just putting foam adhesive on the back of my pieces while you guys talk it out in the comments. This maybe, I'm thinking of this going in the, I'm getting more angles than I am straights. So here's the straight. Here's the angle. Okay, so let's just do, I'm feeling like this might be a bit much. I know I'm all about a bit much, but I feel like it's a bit much of the dimension. So especially since I want to put this on dimension as well. So I'm going to actually remove the dimension from this strip. I'm going to add just a little bit of liquid glue to the back, and I have a little bit of foam adhesive on the back right side, and that's because it's going to sit on the arch. So let's get this kind of there. So I left like a little gap between the strips and this. Now that these are down, I can go ahead and remove my tape, and hopefully it's not going to ruin my disco balls. Perfect. This time I liked the straight better. Donna says, hello, Charlie. Charlie's being naughty. Okay, let's do that. We'll do this one on foam. I'm not afraid to make a thick card. I know you all know this. You know that I like big cards, and I cannot lie. So we're just going to go with it. Going with the thick cards. Okay. I think we're going to go at an angle, and we're just going to connect that sentiment. It's so hard for you guys to see. Connect the bottom of these with that sentiment strip. Well, this is a very hot topic in the live chat. Everybody has an opinion on this, and that's great. Okay, so now this says, sparkle on, my friend, the world needs more of you. This maybe could have gone up just a tad higher. Just a touch. Just a tiny, as I say. All right. Now the last part of this would just be to take this, place it onto my card base. I'm going to move some of this out of the way because I've got some serious trash going on over here from all of the backer for the adhesive sheets and everything. And I think this would be just at a loft there. What do you guys think? We always like more dimension, right? Angle. All right, well, we did the angle. Some of the other ones, some of the other, like this one, might feel better at straight. So I could see where, like, we'll put another one together with that one, and I'll show you how I would do that straight, okay? So I'm just scoring my card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5 inches. I scored it at 4 1/4 to create an A2 size card base. And then this will just go right here in the center. And then we could chop this off if we want to, or we can let it hang over. So there's something that you all can discuss. I told you guys you were going to help me today. You are definitely helping. I think this could be cut in half. I'm just making a rough arch out of that. And then we'll put it on the back. That'll give it some good, sturdy dimension. I'm going to do a little trim on the side just to make it a little bit narrower. So you all let me know, would you trim the disco ball off on the side, or would you let it hang over the card base? I know that some people love that look. Some people find it really annoying, but honestly, I have not been putting these in envelopes, so I'm not worried about it going in an envelope. And I'm just going to look side to side and top to bottom to make sure that I have this where I want it. Feels good. I'll lay it down. I maybe got it a little bit low, but I think it looks good. What do y'all think? Do we trim it? Do we not? Hang over, angle. This is what it would look like trimmed. This is what it looks like hanging over. I think both of them are cute. I think I'm gonna just take a little bit of foam adhesive and I'm doing a double layer here because I want to support that disco ball a little. Hang over on the edge. There is too much on that side that would be lost. Hang over, hang over. Okay. Everybody wants a hangover. That sounded funny. Okay, I have a double layer of foam adhesive in here. And I'm just, since we're going to allow this to hang over, there's a big gap here that is very unsupported. And so I'm just gonna, it's not the cleanest look in the world, but I'm gonna add some more foam adhesive back behind that disco ball just to give it a little bit more support there. All right, hanging over. Okay, the question really now is, do we add some sequins or do we leave well enough alone? Now sequins, I'm not gonna lie, big time suck on a mass-produced card. I mean, and you're either committed to it or you're not. So it's one of those things where it's like, do I really want to do this? So you have to determine, is it worth the sparkle for you? I have a feeling my friend Stephanie is going to be like, yes, yes, yes. More sparkle is better. But it's kind of something you all can decide on your own too. I will say, if you're in a super big hurry, I would not go for sequins, okay? Where do you get the gold tweezers? They are so pretty. Oh, these are from Pink Fresh Studio, and they are fabulous because they are a reverse grip tweezer. So if you squeeze them, they open. And then if you let them go, so you can like grab your sentiment and you just hold it and you can like get your fingers out of the way. I love it. Glitter it, girl, says Donna Marie. Donna Marie, I love your name. I think that is just so Southern. Love it. Okay, so maybe I don't do these on all of them, but I'm feeling it. Look how purple that disco ball looks. It's just picking up on all the purple in the light. I mean, the sentiment says sparkle, LOL. I say yes, always worth the sparkle. Okay, we're going for it. Now, I will say the first one that you do in your mass producing is always, I feel like, the most time consuming because you're figuring out all the little details, right? So I left this open for too long. You're figuring out all the details. But then once you have all the details figured out, you're good to go and you're just assembling from there on out. I'm going to assemble one more because we have that other arch done. And I want to make one that has the straight sentiment. So we're going to do that here in just a moment. And then I'm going to answer I'll answer any questions you guys have as I'm assembling. If you would throw the word question in all caps in front of your question, that helps me kind of dig it out of the comments as I'm looking. Stephanie says sparkle all the things. I knew Stephanie would be on board for the sequins. I did not even have to, wasn't even a doubt in my mind. Love this glitter. Very classy. Yes, go for the sequins. I mean, we're not understated here. Okay, so here it is. This will be the card that I'm including with some cups that are coming up. So there's that. And then let's put together a second one real quick because we have all of this made and we don't have to really figure things out, right? So we're going to do a more glitter, less bitter. We've got to stack up our disco balls. Let's score our card. Do you ship the Shine Bright cups to the UK? Sam, I have not. I've only allowed to the US at this point. I would have to do a little more research on what's involved in shipping overseas. I don't know about a lot about all of that stuff. So for now, I'm just doing the US. That's not to say no. But if you want to go over to, Sam, if you'll go over to my blog, it's sprinkledwithglitter.com. There's a contact me. Send me an email and I'll look into it and see how much it would cost. And then I can email you back and we could work something out if it's not crazy, if it's not something that's too crazy. Chris says this card is Sparkla. I think you mean Sparktacular, Sparkletacular. Okay, so I'm just adding my little backers to my disco balls. This goes really fast, like I said, because I have the sheet adhesive. If you want to do this like cheaper, but take a little more time, you can definitely do this with liquid glue or tape runner or something to adhere these together. But to me, time is money. So I'm going to do that. I'm using the sheet adhesive just to help me out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to adhere this on before I adhere all of my other stuff. Kim says, I just got the arch shape in after seeing you use it. I love an arch. I'm not going to lie. It's just it's just such a great basic shape to add to your card project that, you know, it's not a circle, it's not a square. It's a great basic to have in your stash. Goes with a lot of moods. It looks great with florals. So if you just think about this card design and you just swap this out for some floral die cuts, you have a whole different feeling card there. Look what I'm going to do. You have a whole different feeling card there, but you haven't had to like reinvent the wheel. Does that make sense? So did you all see what I did? I just held the disco balls over the other ones to get the angle and the, you know, kind of the spacing the way I want it because I like the way it's spaced on this other card. And then I'm just going to hold those together with some tape on the front. I'll tape them together from the back. This is like really how I would do this in real life. I would just kind of get my first one going. Then I can take my backer off. And I would probably, once I get this assembled, I would probably assemble all of my stripes onto the arches, put all the arches onto the card bases, then do all of the disco balls and put those all on. So this is kind of how I would do it. And I'm looking at my other one, kind of looking at my spacing, get it pretty close, add it down. I have my double layer of foam adhesive here that I'm just going to keep using rather than try to get it in the very, very right place. I'm just going to do it like this and sneak it behind. It's working. If it's not broke, don't fix it, you know? Support that bigger disco ball that's hanging off of my arch. Then I'll remove that. I'm going to put this guy on. He's going on straight because he's a little bit bigger. Like this guy's a little chunkier than that guy. And so I think straight over the seam of these disco balls is perfect. So just adding a little more foam adhesive here. I'm going to put some at the bottom. And then let's do this. Does it fit? No, it's too big. It's too chunky. Let's do this and this. And then we'll add this. Julie says, so fun, Carissa. Thank you. And then this, for those of you who are joining late, this is my Shine Bright collection. I designed this in collaboration with Spellbinders. It was released last year in October. And I have tons of videos on my YouTube channel with different cards. There's one very similar to this. I used a little bit different color scheme, so you could check that out. Now we need more glitter, less bitter, and we need a little sentiment strip. How about shimmer on, my friend? Okay, I don't like that at the angle. So what I think I'll do is tuck that one up straight like that and call that good. So I'm going to do just a little bit of liquid glue. And we'll place this. Okay, it's only been like an hour and 15 minutes. I'm through 2 of these cards. So you can imagine I still have some die cutting to do on my arches because I wasn't sure about what I wanted to do for my arches when we came on here. So I didn't have those all pre-die cut. I spent about maybe 20 minutes die cutting some stuff before we got on here. So you can see this is a pretty great design for mass production. Not too intense. We've got plenty of color going on. I'm going to add my little sparkles here just to finish this one off while we're here. Trial and error looks good. Yeah, seriously. Some things were just, some things just speak to you. Do you know how like when we did the colors earlier and one, like to me, one just felt right and one felt not as right? That's kind of how this sentiment grouping was for this card. Like one feels like, this one just feels like the chunkiness, it should be straight. And when I put that on there straight, it felt like the sentiment strip should be straight. So all of that, you know, plays into it. And so I just go with the feeling. Like, how does it feel? What does it make me feel like? Now with that now with that sentiment, I like it straight. Also, it's nice to change things when mass producing. Yeah, and we talked about that in our last live stream where we did some mass producing. We talked about easy ways, like if you just have a bunch of things that you can layer up in different ways, then that's a really fun thing to do, is just like have all the elements that you're going to use, but mix and match like backgrounds or just the way that you put it together. And that makes it a lot of fun to mass produce as well. All right, so I'm just going to add my little sequins, and because I already had it figured out where I wanted them from the card number 1, then card number 2 was really easy to put together. Look at that. We put it together in like record time. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say that was record time? Because we know where we're going. All right. So we have this. More bitter, less glitter, shimmer on, my friend. And then we have sparkle on, my friend. The world needs more of you. And a couple of you have already picked up your little skinny cup. So you're going to be getting these when I ship out your cups in July. I'm going to make at least 8 more of these and have a bunch of these ready to go, because I have gone through my stash of Shine Bright cards like so quickly with all the Tumblr sales. It would be easy to do things in batches and be ready to assemble. You're so right, Kel. It's if you get like your stuff done, we picked a sentiment that we could get a whole bunch at once with one pass of the die cut machine and one pass of the foil machine. I did a bunch of die cutting. I've added some adhesive to the back of these to make it faster. So just little things like that that make things faster when you're mass producing can really make your experience, you know, just a little more. Sometimes I don't love mass production. I don't necessarily love putting together the same thing over and over again. But if I am, I'm going to do things that make it easy for me. Rather than trying to liquid glue all of these little strips, then I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of those and just have them ready to glue down. And as you saw, I got 2 arches out of the same set of strips. So that was a really great thing that kind of worked out that I had not anticipated. If you wanted to rearrange the elements on here just a bit, you could play with the elements. You could take your strips and you could put them straight across the bottom to do something a little bit different on your arch and give you a new jumping off point for your card design. So sometimes changing just something as simple as this will make it a little bit easier to put together a whole new card design where you have all of the same elements, but you're putting them together in a different way, and that can feel really fresh. Now, I think it would be fun to kind of do these at like a radiating angle too, like have some gaps between them and have them like rays. But you won't see a lot of that if you're going to use 2 disco balls. If I was going to do something like this where it's like a ray pattern, then I would maybe only use 1 small disco ball and have it like that. And I think that could be fun. And then which one have we not used? Shine Bright. Here we have a little leftover strip scrap there. So you could do this, Shine Bright, and then how about You Were Made to Shine Bright? Something like that. So just another way, I would probably play with this a little bit. I don't know that I love that, but maybe it would be something like that. You were made to shine bright. And that's all of the same elements put together in a different way that gives you a whole nother look. So this is a fun way to create in some senses, because you can take the same things and see how many different arrangements you can kind of come up with to make things new and interesting. What do you guys think of this? I think it's a fun way to just create. Get several elements. You're going to use all these elements. Don't start pulling in things from your stash. challenge yourself to use what you have in front of you. And I have to say, I have found some of my most inspiring crafting sessions have been when I limited the amount of things that I was using. So come up with a color palette, get 3, 4, 5 things that you're going to use, and that's it. And then see what you can create with it and put together in different ways. So thank you all for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this little crafty session featuring the Shine Bright collection. This is available over at Spellbinders. It's not new. It's in stock at Spellbinders. I think there are some of the products available at Simon Says Stamp as well. I have them linked in the YouTube description below. I also have the Sprinkled with Glitter store linked. I have a store now. There are 2 items in my shop over at sprinkledwithglitter.com. So if you want to check those out, you can do that. And I'm going to be sending out these thank you cards. Maybe not forever with the orders, but with the orders that I've been getting lately, I've been sending out the thank you notes. And so it's just a fun personal way to say thank you all for your orders. I will be live here on Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I think I'm going to do, I have something in mind, as I told you before. Do you want a little sneak peek of what it might be? And you guys can let me know if you think this would be something fun to use. Question, does the adhesive, when die cutting, does it make the dies sticky, or do you wipe the dies after? My dies are not sticky at all. So I don't have a problem with that, and I never have. It may depend on the adhesive that you're using. I'm using the Altenew adhesive sheets. So maybe if you were using something different, it could be a different story. But as far as the Altenew adhesive sheets go, I've had really good luck with those. Okay, you all want to see what I'm thinking about using. You guys can say yay or nay. I'm thinking about using this adorable, well, this is called Shine Bright too, which is so funny. But this little set from scrapbook.com, you can pick it up in a bundle. And it's this pattern paper pad. It's got some space themed things going on. Let me grab that other one. That's not it. Got some space themed things, cosmic, astronaut, and rocket, the Shine Bright stamps, and then this cosmic paper pad. Isn't this fun? I think this would be a fun kids card. Like you could create a fun birthday card for a kid. So maybe we'll do that on Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific time here on YouTube. I will be live. I'll link this in case you want to pick this up ahead of time. And there was something else I needed to link as well. I'll have to figure that out, what that was that I needed to go back and link. But that's what I'm thinking for our live stream on Friday. I'm thinking of using this. But for now, I'm going to say thanks so much for joining me. I'm so glad you're here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. I have pre-recorded videos coming up soon. Again, links are in the description, as I mentioned before. And as always, I just want to say thanks for hanging out with me. You all are the reason that this is so much fun, and I appreciate all your input on today's cards. Thanks for watching. I'll see you Friday. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my card making and paper crafting video tutorials. Thanks again, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.